Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail.
Musings and modalities. But more than that, we're going to talk about something that many people don't even understand, that they need to understand it, right? And what we're talking about today is how to achieve this mindful alignment with your personal North Star. Special guest Tristen Stawicki, who knows a lot about this. And Tristen topped that off with the full moon on the 11th in Sagittarius. Hello for that. Welcome to the show. Let's get at it.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm so excited. I love Sagittarius energy, and anytime we have that full moon energy, that culmination since, December 2024 of intentions we've set with that last new moon, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So
It's exciting. It is exciting. So let's talk about this North Star and, let's talk about your experience with it as well, because it doesn't get talked about. The North and nodes, the North and South nodes, I call them stars, but they're North Star. You have a personal North Star, but we don't really take that. We hear that term a lot. Follow your North Star, okay, everybody go North, whatever that conversation is, but we don't even know why. So let's talk about the North and South nodes. And we're referencing, of course, astrology. So give us your take, because I know they are extremely important and seriously underrated, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, the way you spoke about them was perfect, that it is that North Star, that truth, right? We're trying to find our truth. And the word node doesn't really mean a lot to a lot of people, or they haven't heard about it. And these are the North and South nodes of the moon, right? And your location at the time of your birth actually shows up in your birth chart, that natal chart. And for our South node, it's that beautiful base programming. It's like who you show up and in this world as, with these beautiful gifts that you're like, oh, this part's easy for me. I have these gifts of being analytical or being organized, like I'm smooth sailing. And then if we have our North node is actually where we're growing into. And so with our North node of destiny, which like has just a beautiful ring to it, you can feel the expansiveness. It's really guiding us to our purpose. And if we have our North node in Pisces, for instance, we have this beautiful opportunity to take those gorgeous kind of gifts of being analytical and being organized, and take that and see the vision and actually make the vision a reality. And I'm so, so excited because so often, and even in my own life before I came to this work, I was like, what should I do? How should I spend my time? Like, how often are we questioning, like, who should we show up as in this world? And to know that, to have that sense of authenticity and purpose deep within you and that knowing, I mean, that's like a fast pass, you know what I mean? To like understanding, enlightenment, all of those things, which is beautiful.
And, part of this is also understanding the dynamic nature of what we're talking about. And let's just talk about this for a minute. There's like, you look at your birth chart and boom, you've got this North node. But a lot of times we just look at it. We don't really look at what is it surrounded by, blah, blah, blah. What does it mean? And for people that may be new to this, what would you say are, from where you sit in your own personal life, what did you discover about the power of the knowledge about this? You know what I'm saying? As opposed to the power of it, but there's a knowledge that comes from this and things that it points to, definitely. But we have to talk about what alignment means, because that is the key. It's not just popping up a chart or getting some reading. What do you mean by alignment?
Yeah, well, a beautiful way to like start is really like when you hear what your North Node is, or you look it up for yourself, right? And it's like, okay, maybe I have like a one or two kind of elevator pitch of like, all right, I'm supposed to master this in this lifetime, right? Like, great. But really, we want to take a step back and say, like, okay, what sign is it in? Is it in the sign of Aquarius? then really sit with that energy. So often people will talk about, and I know in our last conversation, we talked about sun signs and they define themselves as I'm a Pisces, I'm this, I'm that. It's actually, if we could define ourselves by our North Node, that would be much more living in alignment because we could say, I'm embodying the traits of Aquarius in every decision I'm making. Is it innovative, expansive? Am I looking with a humanitarian lens, right? And when you have those like traits that you're looking for and you can have that test, it's so much easier to be like, oh, wow, this feels right for me. Alignment is really just embodied truth. And you feel it in that mind, that soul, that spirit. And you really just have this whole expansiveness and the whole world opens.
Mhm. So tell people if they're looking at their chart, right? Because I mean, I just want to give people a sense because a lot of times I
Absolutely.
mentioned that I was doing a show on this, and somebody said, "Where is that on the chart?
Right.
Is it literally at the top? Where is the North Node, and what's the symbol?" So give us give us a taste of this because these are some things that people assume
Mhm.
this is where it is, just like north of Seattle,
Right.
south of Seattle, right? But it's a little different. Can you explain somebody looking at their chart now where
Absolutely.
it is and how to interpret a little bit for a moment? And then we're going to hear your story. How do we do this?
Absolutely. So the symbol that it has, it's almost like a cute little flipped out haircut, right? It's a little head, little curls, and that's our north node. And the inverse, right? A little cup with some little curls on the outside is the south node. And actually, this can be in any sign of your chart, in any house. And what the magic is the layering of like, this is the sign that it's in, this is the house that it's in, this is my experience, which is really, really beautiful. And typically, people around your same age, within 18 months of each other or so, have the same North Node. And so there's a kinship you find with people around your same age, and that have um, that kind of identity, which is beautiful. And so you can actually see it in your birth chart, just like you see any of the other symbols, like the sun and the moon and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so incredible to see how the gifts show up for people because if it's in your 10th house of career, that's going to show up very differently than if it's in your 8th house of death and transformation,
Mm. I
you
just got
know?
a text question that came in.
Yeah.
I know we maybe not going to talk about it. It's a really good one though, and it is from oh, that's got to be Susie. The question is, okay, and what does the midheaven mean?
Mhm.
Great question. Because we get sometimes you get a chart and it's got Sun, Sagittarius, 19, la la, 13, eighth house, la la la, house cusp. But then you get this midheaven thing. And
Yep.
people are like, is that midheaven? Is that like a node?
Right. No, it is a little bit different, but they work together in a beautiful way. So your
Awesome.
midheaven is really that how you show up in the workplace. And so your destiny could be your daily job. It could be what you do on the side. It could be, how you spend your time and show up in the world. Your career, your midheaven is like in the workplace, I make people feel safe and calm. I have a Taurus energy, right? Very different than Aquarius. I have a Taurus energy that is very pragmatic and grounded. And so when people know you at your work and you're at networking and things like that, that's really where that energy shows up, which is typically very different, right? There's 12 houses. So the chances of you having both in one house is not very high. But they work in concert, right? And so I bring that beautiful earth energy into my business. That is my destiny. That is
Yeah.
to be with the community.
I love this. Let's talk about actually what you do, because what you also do, and I just want to tell people this for a minute. Tristan is a coach, an astrologer, an intuitive healer. And so all of these things get integrated in what she does. And it's so very cool to hear how this is done. Today, we are focusing on one thing, but we never really focus on one thing, do we?
Right.
When we talk about mindful alignment, personal North Star, we're talking about getting an understanding. And tell me a little bit about how your understanding of this through your own personal story. What have you seen? And what are some of the successes that you've seen from understanding this?
So there isn't a decision in my life that I don't look at the lens of my North Node. It has gotten to that point where if there's anything I'm going to do, I recently moved into a new home. My first home, I was looking at what's the community here? Can I use my gifts to raise up other talented people? Um, and what I'm doing for the good of the collective. And when I have those tenets of truth, and when I have that ability to say, like, if it feels right for my North Node, it feels right for me, been really revolutionary to take that warmth and charisma that are my South Node gifts from my Leo energy and really use that to help shine that light on other people and really use that to serve the collective. To your point, like I work with a lot of incredible women in their 40s through 60s and above that are in times of transition. And it does take like a 3-month container when we're unpacking, we're using those shamanic tools, we're using the astrology to feel that people can dramatically change their life because that's what they're looking for when they are at that time of saying, I've lived this life and it no longer fulfills me. What do I do now? And so it's being held in a safe way to find that and to hopefully help them reach their destiny in this lifetime.
And somebody explained this to me, and I want to see how this impacted your personal journey. Somebody explained to me once that, and this may or may not be true, so please feel free to correct me on this. What they explained to me is the North Node is all about your future new experience and sometimes a karmic relationship of some kind. The other is the South Node, which is past experience, maybe a talent or a gift you have. But the bottom line to this is that when we look at things, North Node, South Node, they have to be, ask me if this is correct, balanced. Is that a good word? Is
That's a
balance
perfect
good?
word.
Because we're talking about like the past, we're talking about the
Mhm.
future. So let's have a conversation about this and what it means. And so explain where you're, I don't know if you want to share this, but explain where your North Node is and how
Mhm.
you know it's there for people. And what does it mean by being where it is for you, so to speak?
Absolutely. No, I'm very happy to share. Mine is in the sign of Aquarius. And so my gifts are from my Leo energy, which is my South Node. And so I had those lifetimes of being on stage and being the performer and having being royalty, right? And this lifetime is like you actually need to be a member of the community. You can be a leader, but you need to be not on the castle on the hill, but in the town, right? And so for me, when I heard about my North Node, really, like it's like almost that one thing that feels uncomfortable, as it should be. It shouldn't feel easy, right? It should feel uncomfortable and like you have to work to get there. It's over your whole lifetime. And along the way, to your point, there could be karmic relationships that come up. There could be situations where your life pivots dramatically, which I know you've had several of those moments to
Oh my
help re
gosh, right?
right? To help realign you, to help get you back on that track of where you need to be, which is so beautiful. I've had those as well, where if I didn't answer the call from the universe, like my world was going to completely fall apart, you know?
Oh, yeah, I do know that because the reason I know that is because I can point to now looking back, like me, I was going to walk away from this 6 months after I started it, and I got the mystery disease, and I couldn't walk at all, period, physically, even.
Mm,
So I couldn't
mhm.
go get that like pressure from get the real job, get the real job. Well, apparently, this is the real job. But if I'd have had a better understanding of what we're talking about today, there would have been some relief, some guidance. And I think this is what we're looking for. We're not saying that you live your life by every aspect of this, but it certainly helps understand some of the activities in this. And again, for people that are looking for how do I make sense of it, you have to first find it on the chart,
Mhm.
number one.
Yeah,
And people may say, well, I can't find it. It's not there. Well, then go get another chart from somebody that will put it there. Um, let's talk about the importance of this and the work you've done to help your clients, please.
absolutely. Yeah, this is something that comes up and it is something that I do in my container and I have a 90-minute reading that I do. It takes the whole time, right? It's a long
Yes,
reading. Because you want
yes.
people to understand not just, and I know we're simplifying it, as we're introducing people to it, but it's not just kind of what you're meant to do. It also talks about the traits for you to leave behind, the traps you fall into, some affirmations that you can hold on to when you're feeling lost, which is so, so helpful. I was doing a reading last night with someone, and it was really helpful for her to understand like the things that she had kind of pushed away or didn't give herself credit for were actually her South Node, the way she was showing up in the world. And it's like, actually, those are things you can celebrate and use. You've mastered those. Like, don't hesitate to bring those in as long as it still feels right and you're not letting that over like outshine what you're here to do. Her North Node's actually in Gemini. And so her path of teaching and communicating and hearing the truth of others and hearing where she can deliver the truth so they can take it in is really, really challenging but beautiful, because it's not enough for us to say, I've, gone to the top of the mountain, I've heard the truth. It's like, how can I share this where people can receive it at the level they can understand? And there's such power in that. But of course, for her, it was something, having a lot of very academic placements, not always the easiest to connect with others. So we worked with some ways that, she could really kind of change her approach. And so it's less stressful on her day to day overall.
Part of this is, and let's get back to what we started to talk about at the top, which is really taking a look at alignment of North Node and also, or North Star. But what does it really mean? I mean, we're taking a look at how to let's talk about this. And I don't know if you looked at my North Node. Do you
I
have
did.
that at all?
I
Okay.
do.
All
Yep.
right. So let's talk about that, because part of the conversation is looking at it in a deeper connection to your destiny,
Yeah.
right? So in looking at my North Node, I don't mind you sharing, telling people where it is if you want to.
Yes, absolutely. So yours is in Pisces. You're actually in a North Node return. Your nodes have come back to where they were at the time of your birth. It matches your birth chart. And that is activated. That's hot. That's red, red hot. I understand, okay, there's a lot of shifts and pivots and a crumbly foundation where things just kind of fall away that you thought were
Yeah.
solid, right?
Yeah.
And so for you, it's really taking those gifts that you have with your Virgo South node, right? That analytical, organized, able to get in the details, and stepping back and saying, I've already mastered the details. It's not worth my time to spend it there. Let me carry the
Yeah.
next level of vision.
That's
What?
it exactly.
Yes, right?
That's it exactly.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, how it comes out. I blurt something out, like I blurted something
Mhm.
out to Linda. And today was a very important meeting with the team, because I am transitioning from that detail mode, because there is something much bigger on the plate for us.
Mhm.
However, we had to make some decisions and changes. So the perception is, it feels like the floor is falling out from under you, but it's not really. You're making an adjustment to do things differently, not just in my business. Let me give you a silly example. You want silly? Let's do
I love
silly
silly.
for a minute. So, I play this sport, and we're getting ready for the state championships coming up. And so when you play this sport, you have a partner, mixed doubles, right?
Right.
But all of a sudden, like a month ago, my doubles partner, female doubles partner, wants to play in her own age group. So now I don't have a doubles partner. And so, okay. And Sean is my mixed doubles partner. So yesterday I went to practice with Sean late, because I love to play late at night. What are you going to do? Watch television? No. So I went to play, and he shared with me something he did. And I think this is exactly what you're talking about. One, he says, I talked to Ming, and then I talked to Alex, and then I talked to Tina, and I brought them all the forms yesterday, because he plays during the day. I can't play during the day. I'm still working. Hello. And so he said, yeah, here's what we're going to do. You're going to play with Ming because you're both in the same age group. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. First of all, my woman doubles partner left me. Now Sean's telling me he's not playing with me. And I'm like, okay, but that we wasn't done. So I start to feel that ground. What do you call it? That shaky ground.
Yeah,
Then he says,
absolutely.
oh, and here's what else we're going to do. And I'm like, okay, what? You're going to play with Ming. I'm going to play with Chalk, and then, or Alex. I mean, he had this whole thing change. And then what he said to me is, hello. And you know what? I changed it all. He said, here it is. And he did. He had everything realigned. So that feeling of falling apart actually turned out better.
Exactly.
Why? Because I wasn't in the details at all. He was, came up with the plan. So here's what I say to him last night. We're leaving. And I said, like, okay, can you do me a favor, Sean? Can you just please verify this? Because I've asked Ming to play with me like 100 times, and he doesn't play in tournaments. So how did you do it? He said, I brought the forms and I had them fill out the forms right there.
We love that. We love action. Like,
I would have never thought to do that. Why? Yeah. So in this process, just because the ground feels like it's falling apart or coming out from under me, it doesn't mean it really is, does it?
exactly. That's a perfect
Especially with
thing.
my chart now, you're putting me back in what, Pisces?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Oh,
you,
wow.
yeah, we love it. It's all about intuition. So it's like if you try to research your next level, that's the wrong thing for you to do. You need to go be in nature. You need to play outside. You need to
Yeah.
find you, reconnect to stillness, and then all the downloads come through. And then you take that and
Yeah.
you help others execute it, right? You delegate, which is
Yeah.
hard because Virgo's exceptional.
And
Virgo's the
trust. Yeah. Now,
Mhm.
Linda's a triple Virgo, so I'm not sure where any of her nodes are or any of that. But the bottom line is, you do, when you're at that level, you have, and there are some decisions I've made that have been major over the past 3 months, gigantic. One of them was, um, I reflected upon an interview I did with the founder of GoDaddy, and he talked about never buying office space because he made that decision. Everybody worked remotely. So I did the same thing, wasn't happy with the office space, moved everybody to their home studios because they're all producers anyway, right?
Right.
But in the end, what does that mean? You have to implement more Virgo type things, but it's expansive and creative to get us ready. So I want to ask you this message. The hit on the impact of the North Node, how would it achieve wealth and better health through this alignment? Talk about that in your closing message, because this is really the punchline, isn't it?
It is. And it really is. Part of it is the universe having your back and your blessings. Because what I don't want someone to have happen, which I have seen in my clients, is they've spent a whole lifetime trying to build their wealth, trying to get in alignment with their health and figure it out. And what
Yeah,
Right. And it is hard. And they found that when they weren't living in their truth, that dis-ease just stayed in their body. And what would happen is a major health setback, just setback after setback. And they're like, I worked
totally.
hard. I worked too hard for this. And I like will hold them in that container and say, you do. Let's put this energy that you have that's beautiful where it needs to go. Let's just move that a little bit over here and open up kind of that highway for you. That's all we need to tweak. It's not a mass, it's Sure, you can have a massive life overhaul, but often with just a few key tweaks and people's direction of what they're putting energy towards, you can have a whole just expansive view and experience, which is lovely. And we also, and you think about partnerships, not just romantic ones, but in business and in life, it's the same thing, right? Where it's just like if it feels out of alignment, if it's not um, kind of tied to your own values, it's not going to work out. You can't outmaneuver your own values. It's never going to happen.
Yeah. This has been a powerful, powerful message. I want to give you a trick. End the show with this. Any tips on this full moon coming out here tonight, tomorrow, tonight? Because the energy is all day tomorrow of it, right?
Right.
Got any tips? It's
It
a
is
big one.
powerful. It is.
Big.
Yeah, I would be ready for pivots. I love Sagittarius energy because it has that impulsivity. So if
Me
you get an
too.
invite, accept it. If it feels right, hit it against your gut instinct and go like, yeah, that feels good. Absolutely enjoy it. But really sit with the energy because we have a lot of energy changes in June. Don't burn yourself out. Sagittarius is bright hot, that roaring fire that starts to go into the embers. And so really sit with it. But yeah, I think it's going to be a big collective moon as well.
How do we work with you, and tell me what people can do to really get their own charts and work with you on that? How do they do that? And thank you for today.
Absolutely. Thank you. You can go to musingsandmodalities.com. I offer shamanic healing, birth chart readings, and compatibility readings as well. I also have 3-month containers for those that want to do that deep, beautiful work together to really help you live a transformational life in alignment.
Thank you so much. Again, one more time for the website and one more time how to work with you.
Yes, it is at musingsandmodalities.com. And for your audience, Dr. Pat, we have code Dr. Pat 20 and to get 20% off sessions.
Oh,
Yes. So any of my sessions, shamanic healing, 90 minutes, birth chart, 90 minutes. That's a good amount of time for us to get in the nitty
yeah.
gritty. And so I'm so excited to share that.
Thank you so much for everything today. I want to thank all of you. And again, we're just giving you a snapshot of what the energies are in order for you to figure out how it impacts you, how it impacts you now, even in your solar return or things that you're looking at for this year. that is something you need help with, please contact Tristen, Musings and Modalities. Thank you, Tristen. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time.